Welcome to this video on how to run a TPOT data dump for use of tiered coaching. We know that as partners with the University of Washington, we have to provide Marie and her team with information on the TPOT and how teachers scored during their observation in order for them to help make matches on who should receive what level of tiered coaching in this first round. Now, what we don't want to have to ask you to do is provide information in multiple places. So putting the information into the Pyramid Model Implementation Data System, or PIDS, and also providing it in a Google spreadsheet that is sent by Marie. So what we've done is we have we'll be sharing a report with you so that you can pull this report and it'll have the information that is needed. You won't need to add additional information, and you can share that directly with Marie instead of entering information into places. So this short video is going to show you how to pull a TPOT data dump that can be shared with the University of Washington in order to make those tiered coaching matches. So first off, if I am logged into the Pyramid Model Implementation Data System, of course, this is my login screen as soon as I have gotten into the system as a data collector only. This is a report that can only be run by the data collector because it does allow me to see names associated with TPOT scores. As you can see over here on my left in my dashboards, I have 8 classrooms. Those have already been set up. I have Pyramid Model professionals that have been entered. And so far, there are 7 TPOT observations. So to run the report, we're going to go up here at the top right eyebrow menu and click on the Reports tab. Here, it's going to give me a list of all of the different reports that we can run in PIDS. And you can see down here, there's 4 pages of different reports that we can run. I will be doing additional videos on how to get to some of the most used reports. But today, we're going to be doing a report on the TPOT. So we're going to put that into our search bar. And it's going to pull up these options for us. Now, these are all great reports. They're going to give us information on how many red flags are we seeing between start and end dates. What are the trends between last time and this time as far as red flags go, and then the overall trend report as well. What we want to do today is do a data export report or data dump that's going to detail all of the information about TPOTs that have been entered into the system, and it's going to put it into an Excel file for us. So we're going to click select over here on the right. And it's going to pull up on our left side options for us to enter into. So because this is we want to use the most recent TPOT data in order to make our matches and send to UW, we're going to select our fall TPOT observations. So they could have started as early as September 1st through today's date here. I'm going to make sure that my school district is selected. Remember, school district 54 is my test school district, and I'm going to select export and download report. I can see here there's a green box telling me my report is exporting and it should be downloaded soon, and there it is. Okay, so this file downloaded in an Excel spreadsheet. Let me make it a little bit bigger for us. Onto my desktop, and I can see that I had in the fall, we had 5 different TPOT observations that were completed. I see my start times, my end times, which classroom was observed, who the observer was, and then I have all of the information that we entered, including number of adults who were present, children, any notes that we might have. And then as we scroll along to the right, we can see all of our other indicators and items as well. So I've got my red flags observed, not observed, incidences of challenging behavior, and then each one of my indicators as we scored them. So I've got all of my information. This is the exact same information that we would provide UW for them to be making the coaching matches. Like at what level, at what tier are they going to be receiving coaching? Down here along the bottom, you can see that we have several tabs to look through. So we can see, one of the questions is, were there behavior responses used? So we can see exactly which behavior responses were used to respond to challenging behavior. We've got teacher provided support and they responded to children in an observation that was on 10:30. I have my red flags, if there were any that came up, and the criteria that was used for this report, which just tells you we started September 1st, we ended 11/1, and it was done for school district 54. Now, the last thing that I want to show you, and this is going to be the other information that is going to be needed by Marie and her team, are the participants. On that first screen I showed you, all it had was classroom information, but it didn't tell us who the teachers were in each classroom. If I click on this participants tab, it shows me that I had Daisy Duck, I had teacher 110T01, who didn't want to have their information identified. I've got Minnie and Joe. And it tells me the dates that they were observed. And so the only thing that you are going to have to do that is a little bit more, instead of having to enter in two places, is these participant names are going to need to be matched with the actual TPOT outcomes so that the observation scores can be matched with the coaching surveys that the teachers completed. So we have here on this side, we have a TPOT key that shows us exactly what TPOT was entered. And so I'm going to use that. And I'm going to enter in one more column here. And we're going to put teacher name. And that's where we're going to match up who was in each room. So I've got TPOT key 289. Here, TPOT key 289 had Daisy Duck and teacher 110T10. So we're going to put Daisy Duck and 110T01. And we're going to do the same thing for the other participants because we want to make sure that they are matched up only for the purposes of matching their observations to their teacher surveys. Minnie Mouse was in 290 and Joe Mike, our friend Joe Mike, 291 was Daisy, and the other teacher, she had to jump classrooms later in the year. 98 was once again Joe, Mike, and Minnie. And then in 299, they finally had to give teacher one her own classroom because they had more. So now I've got them matched up, and now she can look at observation scores, teacher surveys, and help you make those matches for tiered coaching. This is all that she will need to help you make those matches. And so when she asks you for this data, you should be able to download this, provide it to your coaches, and they can send it over to Marie for the next steps. If you have any questions about how to do this, or if you would like me to walk through this or talk with you a little bit more, please do not hesitate to reach out. Thank you. Part of conducting our TPOT observations is being able to use that data in order to inform our action planning as a leadership team, considering how we want to prepare professional development, what trends are we seeing across our program, and what information do we need to consider as we think about continued support for our teachers. In order to do that, as a data collector, you need to be able to run a TPOT report that provides safety and security to your teachers and teaching assistants, while also providing the leadership team with the information they need to be able to make action plans and set agendas for the coming coaching cycle. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to look at how to run a TPOT indicator report and red flag report to be used as part of your action planning with the leadership team. One of the first places that you're going to see this being used is with the leadership team sessions 2. After you've conducted your initial TPOTs, you're then going to use this information to set your action plans for the coming year. So let's look at how we do that. First off, we have our pyramid model implementation data system home screen. You can see that I am on the testing site, but when you do this in the live site where you enter your data, the process will be exactly the same. Once again, I'm going to go up here to the reports in my top right menu, eyebrow menu. And I'm going to enter in TPOT in my search to pull up my options for getting our TPOT reports. To provide your coaches, you did a data export, but today we're going to run a report on indicator counts and red flag counts. In future trainings or action planning sessions with your leadership team, after you have several TPOT observations conducted across over time, you'll be able to do a trend report on the red flags and on the indicator items itself, so you can see how your teachers and your program has grown through the implementation of the pyramid model. So today, let's run a report on our indicator counts and our red flag counts so that we can have those ready for our leadership teams to review. So let's start with indicator counts. I'm going to click select. And again, we want to do this first fall application. So we started, I'm going to say back in September through today's date. I want to make sure I select the classrooms that should be included in this report. And each of these is part of District 54, which is my test district here. So I'm going to select all. And I also want to make sure to include all of the professionals that are part of District 54. So I'm going to include all of my professionals. I only want to include lead teachers. They're the ones who are being observed. So I'm going to select lead teacher and then make sure my program that I'm interested in is selected. Once those filters have been put in place, we're going to run our report. And now I can see, first off, I get a percentage of my indicators, how many are in place, and it gives me specific numbers so I can see where there might be some specific areas that we want to work on, and others that we're doing okay, and those can wait a little bit. So it looks like for this program, we've got teachers are doing well with their engagement in supportive conversations with children, but an area that we might want to begin our professional development and coaching would be around promoting children's engagement or even supporting family use of the pyramid model practices. I can see up here that there's multiple pages, so let's see what page 2 looks like. And here's where I have just a bar graph of that same information that was on page 1. And page 3 is going to tell me what all was included, what criteria and filters did I include for this report. Because I want to be able to share this one that is de-identified, there is no information on this that will identify teachers and their individual observations, which is an important factor that we want to consider. This one I'm going to download as a PDF and save it so that I can share it with my leadership team. I see it's got my key practice counts, so I can go in and find that in my downloads later. While these key practices are important, we also want to consider the red flags that may have come up in our observation time. So we're going to return to our report list, and we're going to look at our TPOT red flag counts for this observation cycle. So we're going to select this one again. Once again, I want to make sure that I am inclusive of all of the dates that TPOTs could have been conducted. I'm going to go through today. I want to make sure I'm including all of the classrooms that have had observations in this cycle. all of the teachers that have had observations in this cycle, and then I'm going to ask them to be filtered by lead teacher. I have all of my filters selected. Once again, I'm going to run my report. And there it is. There it goes. Now I can see my red flag counts. So I've had a couple that children are not engaged, learning centers. So we might need to look at setting up safe learning environments. And then also helping to increase our inclusive practices for children who might need more supports. And so this is the same one, and we can see here is our second page of that, and our bar graph for our red flags. And this just gives them to us by numbers. So you would need to look at the TPOT booklet or scoring reports, know exactly, if you're looking at just the bar graph, which ones need to be considered. And then page 4, once again, is our inclusion criteria for this report. I'm going to save that one as well by choosing the arrow, choosing it as a PDF. It has now downloaded for me into my system, and I have reports that I can share with my leadership team that are de-identified in order to protect the confidentiality of our teachers. You can also see over here, if you're wondering if you've run a report recently, if you can't remember, if anybody's asking when's the last time, you can see that we have run reports on November 1st and November 9th. And so you should be able to keep track of when things were run if anybody is asking for help on that. As always, please let me know if you have any questions about running reports or any other information in PIDS, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. Thank you.